Ladies, let me break something down for you. When a man truly loves you, he won't just show it with gifts, compliments, or grand gestures. He'll show it with questions. See, a man in love doesn't just want to be around you. He wants to understand you. He wants to know what moves you, what scares you, what dreams keep you awake at night. Because to him, your mind and heart matter just as much as your beauty. Now, don't get it twisted. Any man can say, I love you. Words are easy. But when a man starts asking questions that go deeper than the surface, that's when you know his heart's in it for real. He'll ask about your day, not just to make conversation, but to feel your energy. He'll ask about your dreams because he wants to be a part of them. He'll ask what you need from him because he wants to get it right. That's the difference between a man who's just passing time and a man who's building something real. The one who loves you wants to learn you like a book he never wants to stop reading. His curiosity isn't casual, it's emotional investment. Because when a man's heart is tied to you, he starts thinking, and we not me. He asks because he cares. He asks because he listens. And he asks because love to him isn't guessing, it's growing. So if a man in your life is asking the right questions, don't overlook it. Don't brush it off. That's not small talk. That's soul talk. Because when a man loves you, his questions become his way of saying, I'm here, I care, and I'm not just loving you, I'm learning you. He'll ask, how was your day? Really, when a man truly loves you, he's not just running through the motions. He's not hitting you with that dry robotic, how was your day? Just because it's what people say. No, when that man loves you, when he's invested in your peace, that question carries weight. It's got emotion behind it. He ain't looking for a one-word answer. He's listening for the truth hiding underneath your tone. See, a man love doesn't just hear your words. He studies your energy. He can tell when your I'm fine really means. He knows when your it was okay means your day nearly broke you. Because love sharpens a man's senses. It opens his eyes to things he never used to notice. He starts paying attention to details, to moods, to silence. That's what happens when a man's heart gets involved. He starts feeling what you feel. Now, let me tell you something real. Every man has two sides, his pride and his care. When he's still in player mode, it's all pride. But when he's in love, that care takes over. Pride don't matter no more because your peace matters more than his ego. When he asks, how was your day? Really, he's not being nosy. He's showing emotional responsibility. That's a man saying, talk to me before the world drains you. Let me carry a piece of that weight. And ladies, that question right there, it's a love language. It's not always flowers or fancy dinners. Sometimes it's that simple moment when he sits next to you, looks you dead in the eyes and checks your soul temperature, when he makes space for your thoughts without judgment. That's intimacy beyond physical touch. That's emotional connection at work. But here's the problem. Too many women get so used to being strong, they don't know how to receive that kind of care. You've been independent so long, you forgot that love is supposed to feel like rest. So when that man asks, how was your day? Really, don't brush it off with, I'm good, let him in a little. Because that question is him opening a door. And if you keep closing it, one day he'll stop knocking. See, when a man's in love, he starts investing emotionally before he invests financially. That's how you know it's real. He don't just want to impress you. He wants to understand you. He wants to know what drains you so he can protect you from it. He wants to know what lights you up so he can keep that spark alive. That man is paying attention to your world because he's already picturing himself in. Let me paint the picture. You come home tired from work, frustrated, maybe even holding back tears. He notices it before you speak. He don't hit you with what's for dinner. No, he says, baby, talk to me. How was your day? Really? And right there, you exhale. Because that's a man creating space for your peace. That's love that listens before it speaks. It's rare, but when it happens, you feel it. Because love like that doesn't need to be loud to be real. It's in the details. The text that checks in on you during lunch, the phone call just to hear your voice, the man who notices you sound different and don't let it slide. When he asks that question with genuine curiosity, it's him saying, I'm here and I care. But here's where it gets deep. That question also reveals how secure a man is. Weak men avoid emotional conversations because they don't know how to handle depth. Strong men Emotionally grounded men lean into it. They know asking how was your day really means they might have to listen to something uncomfortable. They might have to hear about a bad boss, an old wound, or something they can't fix, but they listen anyway because love ain't about fixing, it's about feeling together. Ladies, you can tell how deep his love runs by how much space he gives you to be real. The man who loves you won't just want your highlight reel. He'll want your raw moments too. He'll want to hear the truth, even when it's messy, because your honesty makes him feel trusted. And that's the thing. When he asks that question, it's not just about your day, it's about your state of being. He's asking, are you still okay in this world? Are you still hopeful? Are you still at peace? Because a man in love doesn't just care about how you look. He cares about how you feel inside that smile. So the next time a man asks you that question, how was your day really, don't take it for granted. That's not a filler sentence. That's not habit. That's heart. That's a man giving you his time, his attention, and his empathy. And in today's world, that's the purest currency love has. When a man loves you, he'll want to know how your day was because your emotions affect his energy. Your stress weighs on him. Your happiness fills him up. Your laughter is his reward. That question means I'm not just with you, I'm for you. Because love, when it's real, always asks deeper questions. It doesn't just want to know what happened to you. It wants to know how you felt while it did. That's how a man shows he's no longer on the surface. He's diving into your soul. And baby, when a man starts doing that, that's not just interest, that's intention. He'll ask, what do you dream about? When a man truly loves you, his interest goes far beyond what you wear, how you move, or how you look in the light. He's not just fascinated by your presence, he's captivated by your purpose. That's why when love gets real, he'll look at you one day and ask, what do you dream about? And when he does, understand that this question right here, this one, isn't about small talk. It's about connection. See, a man in love wants to know your world. He wants to see what's buried behind that beautiful smile. What keeps you awake at night? What sets your soul on fire? He's not asking to fill the silence. He's asking because he's thinking about a future that includes your dreams, not just his. That's what makes this question powerful. It's not about curiosity, it's about commitment. Now, let me tell you something. Every woman has two versions of herself, the one the world sees and the one her dreams reveal. When a man loves you, he's trying to meet that second one. The woman who's got ideas, goals, fears, and desires that she maybe never said out loud. He's not intimidated by her ambition. He's inspired by it. Because a man who's truly in love doesn't want to limit you. He wants to lift you. You can always tell what kind of man you have by the kind of questions he asks. If all he ever talks about is what you're doing for him, that's not love. That's convenience. But when he starts asking about what you want for yourself, that's love maturing. That's a man saying, I see you beyond this moment. See, when a man says, what do you dream about? He's saying, show me the blueprint to your future. And that's deep. Because not every man can handle that answer. Not every man can stand beside a woman with vision. Some men feel threatened when they see a woman who's walking in her power. But the man who truly loves you, he'll see your dream as his mission too. He'll want to be part of the process. He'll want to support, to motivate, to guide, to push you further when you doubt yourself. Because that's what love looks like in action. It's partnership. It's not me or you. It's against every obstacle that stands in our way. Now, sometimes women get so used to doing everything alone, they hesitate to share their dreams. Maybe the last man you told didn't take you seriously. Maybe he laughed. Maybe he made you feel like your vision was too big or too impossible. But let me tell you something. When the right man loves you, he doesn't laugh at your dreams. He invests in them. He'll be your biggest believer even when you don't believe in yourself. He'll ask questions like, what steps are you taking to get there? Or what's holding you back? Not because he's trying to control you, but because he's already positioning himself to be your solution, not your setback. See, real love doesn't compete. It complements. When a man asks what you dream about, He's already thinking about how his strength can meet your vision. He's saying, how can I help you win? Because he understands something powerful. A woman who feels supported becomes unstoppable. And when she wins, he wins. Ladies, when a man loves you, he wants to see you walk in purpose. He wants to watch you shine, not dim you down. He knows that a fulfilled woman is a peaceful woman. And peace, that's what every real man is searching for. So when he asks you about your dreams, he's also protecting his own peace. Because loving you means helping you become your best self. Don't get it twisted. This question isn't romantic fluff. It's a test of his maturity. Boys want to know your plans for the weekend. Men want to know your plans for your life. Boys ask, what are we eating? Men ask, what are we building? So when that man says, what do you dream about? Pause and really think about what that means. He's trying to connect with your essence. He's saying, I want to know what keeps your heart alive. He's not just chasing a moment. He's chasing meaning. And here's what makes that question so powerful. It invites vulnerability. When you tell a man your dreams, you're showing him a part of you that's sacred. You're saying, here's what I want out of life. Here's what scares me. Here's what I hope for. And a man who loves you won't take that lightly. He'll protect that vision like it's his own. He'll remind you of your worth when you forget it. He'll push you to go after opportunities when you start doubting yourself. And the beautiful part, he won't be threatened when you win. He'll be proud. Because a man who truly loves you doesn't feel smaller when you shine brighter. He feels stronger because he's part of your glow. When he asks, what do you dream about? He's also saying, where do you see yourself? And how can I meet you there? That's not just romance. That's alignment. That's two souls saying, let's walk this path together and see how far love and vision can take us. Because when love is real, it's not just about today, it's about tomorrow. And a man who loves you enough to ask about your dreams, that's a man who's already thinking about forever. He'll ask, what do you need from me? When a man truly loves you, he doesn't just assume he knows what you want. He asks, he looks you in the eye and says, what do you need from me? That one question right there. That's not just love. That's emotional intelligence. That's a man who's done with guessing games and ego battles. That's a man who's ready to love with intention, not impulse. See, most men grow up thinking love is about doing the big gestures, buying gifts, saying I love you, showing up on birthdays and anniversaries. But when a man matures, when he truly loves you, he learns that love ain't about just showing up. It's about showing up correctly. And the only way to do that is to ask. When he says, what do you need from me? He's not questioning his worth. He's checking his direction. He's saying, I'm here. I'm willing. I just want to make sure I'm loving you the right way. That's growth. That's a man moving from control to connection, from pride to purpose. Ladies, that question might sound simple, but it carries power. It means he respects you enough to learn your language because every woman loves differently. Some need affection, some need space, some need communication, some need action. A man who loves you will take time to figure that out. He's not trying to love you based on what he prefers. He's trying to love you based on what you need. That's the difference between a man who wants to keep you and a man who wants to understand you. The first one operates on assumption. The second one operates on awareness. And awareness is where real love lies. Now, when a man asks, what do you need from me? It also means he's humble enough to admit he doesn't have all the answers. That's rare because most men were wired to fix things. We think if something's wrong, we can solve it with logic or money or advice. But love ain't something you fix. It's something you feel. And when a man asks that question, he's saying, teach me how to show up for you emotionally. That's vulnerability. And trust me, that's not easy for a man to do. See, pride tells a man, you should already know how to make her happy. But love tells him, ask her, listen, learn her heart. A man in love doesn't fear that conversation. He invites it because he understands that love is a skill, not a feeling. You don't master it once. You practice it daily. Let me tell you something, ladies. When he asks you, what do you need from me? Don't take it lightly. That's not him being weak. That's him being wise Because a man who's serious about you wants clarity. He doesn't want confusion between you. He doesn't want you going to bed frustrated, crying quietly while he's clueless. He wants to know what fills your cup so he can keep it full. And that's the beauty of it. Love like that is proactive, not reactive. He doesn't wait for things to fall apart to start caring. He asks before the storm. That's protection. That's partnership. Now, a man who asks that question also shows he's secure enough to hear the truth, because sometimes your answer might sting. You might say, I need you to listen more, or I need you to be more patient, or I need consistency. And instead of getting defensive, a man in love will take that and work on it because he values growth over pride. That's what separates real men from the rest. The ones who love with intention will listen even when it's uncomfortable. They'll adjust because they know that love without effort dies in silence. You see, when a man truly loves you, he doesn't want to be your stress. He wants to be your calm. So when he asks, what do you need from me? He's checking himself. He's making sure his presence is adding peace, not pressure. That's maturity. That's evolution. And ladies, that question is not just romantic. It's spiritual. It's a man saying, I'm not here to take from you. I'm here to give to you the way you deserve. That's how a real man leads, with love, not authority. He's not trying to dominate your emotions. He's trying to understand them. And when a man loves you like that, he turns communication into connection. He learns your rhythms, your triggers, your silence. He realizes that sometimes love isn't loud. It's quiet, patient, and intentional. When he asks that question, it's his way of saying, I'm ready to learn you every day, because people evolve, needs change, life shifts, and a man who loves you doesn't assume yesterday's effort is enough for today's you. He stays curious. He stays present. That's how relationships survive, through questions, not assumptions, through communication, not guessing games. So when a man sits you down, looks at you and says, baby, what do you need from me? Understand that's not a weakness. That's strength. That's a man saying, I care about your happiness enough to adjust myself if it means we grow stronger. And that right there is what love looks like when it's mature, grounded, and real. It asks, it listens, and then he'll ask, are you happy with me? When a man truly loves you, there comes a moment when he puts his pride aside, takes a deep breath, and asks a question that shows just how much his heart is invested. Are you happy with me? Now, that might sound simple, but it's one of the hardest questions for a man to ask, because behind those 5 little words is vulnerability, fear, and love all tangled up together. It takes real strength for a man to look at the woman he loves and open himself to that kind of truth. See, when a man is in love, your happiness becomes part of his peace. If you're not smiling like you used to, if you've been distant, quiet, or colder than before, he feels that shift. And a man who's emotionally connected will want to understand it, not ignore it. He won't just assume everything's fine. He'll stop and ask, baby, are you happy with me? Because he's checking the pulse of your heart, not just the routine of your relationship. Now, let's be real. Most men were raised to avoid emotional questions. We were taught to fix problems, not feel them. So when a man reaches that point where he asks this question, it's not weakness, it's growth. That's a man saying, I'm done pretending I've got it all figured out. I care enough to find out if I'm really giving you what you need. And that right there is what separates a man who just loves you from a man who's trying to keep you. When a man asks you, are you happy with me? It means your emotions matter to him more than his ego. He's not asking because he wants validation. He's asking because he wants clarity. He's saying, if I'm missing something, if I've drifted away from what makes you feel loved, I want to fix it before it's too late. That's humility. That's accountability. That's a man checking in before the distance turns into damage. Ladies, when he asks you that question, take it seriously. Don't brush it off with, yeah, I'm fine if you're not. That man is opening a door that most men never open. Be honest, but be kind, because love grows through truth, not silence. When a man loves you deeply, he wants to know the truth even if it hurts, because he'd rather fix what's broken than lose what's beautiful. And here's what's powerful. That question isn't just about romance. It's about responsibility. A real man knows he has influence over your emotional world. He knows his words, his tone, his actions. They affect you. So when he asks if you're happy with him, he's really saying, have I been a blessing or a burden? That's emotional maturity at its finest. Now, don't mistake this for insecurity. There's a difference. Insecurity says, tell me I'm good enough so I feel better. Love says, tell me the truth so we get better. When a man's heart is in the right place, that question doesn't come from fear. It comes from care. He's not fishing for compliments. He's seeking understanding. You see, love isn't about guessing what the other person feels. It's about creating space to ask. Relationships fall apart not because of big arguments, but because people stop checking in. They stop asking, are you okay? Are we good? Do you still feel loved here? And before you know it, two people living under the same roof start feeling like strangers. But when a man truly loves you, he refuses to let that happen. He'll ask the hard questions because he knows the silence is more dangerous than the truth. And sometimes that question reveals more than he expected. Maybe you tell him, I feel like we don't talk anymore. Or I miss how we used to laugh. Or you've been distant lately. A man who loves you won't get defensive. He'll listen because love teaches humility. It teaches you to hear what you don't want to hear and use it to grow instead of shutting down. That's what love looks like when it matures. It chooses understanding over argument. When a man asks, are you happy with me? He's really saying, I still care enough to grow with you. He's reminding you that your happiness is not invisible to him. He's saying, I might not always get it right, but I'm willing to try again. That's the beauty of real love. It's not perfect, but it's persistent. Ladies, you can tell a man's sincerity by how he responds to your honesty. A man who loves you won't punish you for speaking your truth. He'll thank you for trusting him with it, because a man who's serious about you understands that love without communication is just a ticking clock, loud, constant, but going nowhere. So when he asks you, are you happy with me? Understand that's his way of saying, I still want this. I still choose you. I just want to make sure I'm still giving you the kind of love you deserve. That's not fear, it's faith. Faith in the idea that love is worth checking on. Faith that growth is better than pride. Faith that two people can keep choosing each other even when the spark fades because the bond is deeper. When a man loves you, your happiness becomes his reflection. So when he asks you that question, don't just hear it, feel it. Because behind that one sentence is everything. Real love stands for awareness, accountability, and a desire to build forever, not just survive today. He'll ask, what? Can I do better? Let me tell you something real, ladies. When a man loves you, he doesn't just want to be your man. He wants to be your right man. He wants to be the man that gives you peace, not pressure. So when he sits you down, looks you in the eyes, and asks, what can I do better? That's not just small talk. That's a man telling you, I'm not perfect, but you matter enough for me to keep trying. See, there's a difference between a man who loves you and a man who loves the idea of you. The one who loves you isn't scared of self-reflection. He's not afraid of a little discomfort if it means growing closer to you. That question, what can I do better, is his way of saying, I want to learn you. Because the truth is, love isn't something you master. It's something you keep studying. Now, the average man doesn't like to feel corrected. Most men got an ego, a sense of pride. We think we got it all figured out. But when a man is in love, that pride takes a backseat to his purpose. And his purpose becomes making sure you feel seen, heard, and secure. So when he asks that question, he's inviting honesty. He's saying, don't sugarcoat it. Don't protect my feelings. Tell me where I'm missing it, because your happiness is the report card of my effort. Let's be honest. Relationships are not built on big moments. They're built on the small corrections in between. It's those conversations that shape the connection. A man who asks, what can I do better, isn't weak. He's wise. He understands that communication is not confrontation. He knows that love requires feedback. And instead of seeing your feedback as criticism, he sees it as direction. Think about it. How many women stay silent because they're tired of talking to men who never listen? How many women stop speaking up because they know their words will turn into an argument instead of understanding? But when a man truly loves you, he changes that cycle. He listens without defending. He processes without reacting because he's not listening to reply. He's listening to repair. That question, what can I do better, shows he's not just invested in a relationship when things are easy. He's invested when things are tense, when there's friction, when the connection needs work. That's the test of love right there. Not how he acts when everything's smooth, but how he shows up when things feel off. And ladies, let me tell you this. When a man asks you that question, he's giving you trust. He's saying, I trust you with my flaws. That's powerful because for a man, vulnerability doesn't come easy. Most of us were raised to hide our weaknesses, not expose them, but love will humble a man. It'll make him open up in ways he didn't even know he could. When he loves you, he's willing to learn from you. He's willing to admit he doesn't know everything. That's emotional maturity. Now, here's the thing. You got to handle that question with grace. If a man's brave enough to ask it, don't use it as a weapon. Don't turn it into a list of complaints. Speak with care. Because the goal isn't to break him down, it's to build him up. Tell him where he can improve. Yes, but also remind him of what he's already doing right. A man who feels appreciated will do more. A man who feels attacked will shut down. Love needs balance, correction with compassion, honesty with softness. That's what keeps a bond strong. And let's be real. Any man can buy gifts, take you out, post you online, but it takes a different kind of man to ask, what can I do better? That's growth. That's self-awareness. That's emotional intelligence because he's not chasing perfection. He's chasing progress. He knows that every day love requires work and he's not afraid to put in that work. When he asks that question, it's not about control. It's about connection. He's not trying to fix you. He's trying to understand how to love you better. That's rare. That's sacred. That's real love. So when that man looks you in your eyes and says, what can I do better? Don't overlook that moment. Appreciate it because it's his heart talking. It's his way of saying, I care enough to keep improving. And that right there is one of the purest signs that his love isn't fading, it's deepening. Because a man who loves you doesn't want to be right all the time. He wants to get it right. And that's the kind of love that doesn't just survive seasons, it lasts lifetimes. He'll ask, how can we grow together? Now listen to me, ladies. When a man truly loves you, he's not just thinking about the now, he's thinking about the next. He's not just asking where y'all are, he's asking where y'all are going. And when a man looks at you and says, how can we grow together? That's not a casual question. That's a man thinking long term. That's a man seeing you as part of his future, not just his present. See, when a man's heart is really in it, he doesn't want a relationship that's staying still. He wants one that evolves. He's not content with just existing next to you. He wants to build something with you because real love is not just about chemistry. It's about partnership. It's about two people pulling in the same direction, lifting each other higher, sharpening each other's dreams, and becoming more than they were before they met. A man who asks, how can we grow together, is saying, I see potential in us. He's saying, I don't just want you to fit into my life. I want us to create a life together. That's powerful. That's commitment because growth requires patience, communication, and a shared vision. And not every man is willing to invest in that. Some men are fine keeping things easy and comfortable. But when a man truly loves you, comfort isn't enough. He wants purpose in the relationship. He wants movement. He wants progress. When he asks that question, he's acknowledging that love isn't static. It's alive. It breathes. It changes. And if both people stop watering it, it starts to fade. He's recognizing that. For love to stay strong, both of you have to grow emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even spiritually. Think about it. When you first meet someone, It's all excitement and discovery. But as time goes on, that initial spark needs depth to survive. That's where growth comes in. A man who's serious about you doesn't want to just keep doing what's working now. He wants to figure out what's going to work next. He wants to evolve with you. He wants to build something that can weather the storms, not just shine in the sunshine. And here's what makes that question so meaningful. It's selfless. Because he's not just asking, how can I grow? He's asking, how can we grow? That means he sees your growth as connected to his. Your dreams are not competing with his, they're aligned with his. That's what healthy love looks like. It's not about one person leading and the other following. It's about walking side by side, pushing each other toward better versions of yourselves. When a man asks that, he's showing you he's emotionally intelligent enough to understand that love can't stay strong if only one person's evolving. He doesn't want to outgrow you or hold you back. He wants you to rise with him. And that's rare because a lot of people love the version of you that benefits them. But a real man, one who's in it for the long haul, will love the version of you that's becoming more than he imagined. He'll cheer for your transformation, not compete with it. Ladies, that's the kind of man who sits down with you and says, let's talk about our future. What do you want for yourself? What do we want together? What can we learn? What can we build? What can we improve? That's not weakness, that's vision. And you better believe a man like that is thinking far beyond the surface. He's thinking about how to make the relationship thrive, not just survive. You see, when he loves you, your success becomes his joy. Your peace becomes his priority. Your growth becomes his mission. So when he asks, how can we grow together? He's really saying, how can I support your journey while we build ours? He's choosing to invest time, effort, and emotion into making sure both of you evolve together, not apart. That's the difference between a man who just dates and a man who builds. One wants moments, the other wants meaning. One's chasing the feeling, the other's building a foundation. A man who loves you and asks, how can we grow together? He's choosing the foundation every single time. And let me tell you something. You'll know the sincerity of that question by how he acts afterward. Because real men don't just talk about growth, they show it. He'll take interest in your goals. He'll encourage you to learn, to explore, to dream bigger. He'll ask how he can help, how he can make life lighter for you while you chase what fulfills you. And in return, he'll open up about his own dreams. He'll trust you with his vulnerabilities, his ambitions, his plans. That's partnership. That's two people watering each other's soil so both can bloom. Because love that doesn't grow dies. But love that chooses growth through every change, every challenge, every chapter, that's the love that lasts. So when a man looks at you with intention in his eyes and says, how can we grow together? Understand that's not just romance talking, that's legacy talking. That's his heart saying, I'm not just here to love you today, I'm here to build with you tomorrow. And that right there is the kind of love that turns ordinary relationships into lifelong partnerships. His questions are his love language. Let me tell you something powerful. Ladies, when a man loves you, his questions are his love language. See, not every man is going to pour his heart out with poetry or sweet talk. Some men love through curiosity. They love through wanting to understand you. How was your day? What do you dream about? What can I do better? Those aren't just words. Those are love and action. That's his way of saying, I care enough to know what's inside your heart. You can tell a lot about a man by the questions he asks. Because when he's invested, he's intentional. He's not just trying to pass time. He's trying to build time with you. He wants to know your moods, your fears, your hopes, your triggers, your peace. That's not a man playing games. That's a man building connection. That's a man saying, teach me how to love you the way you deserve. See, real love isn't loud, it's consistent. It's in the listening, the learning, and the effort to grow. When he asks questions that make you feel seen and valued, that's not weakness, that's strength, that's emotional maturity. So don't overlook a man who asks. Don't ignore the quiet ones who want to understand more than they want to impress. Because a man who asks loves deeply. He's not guessing his way through your heart. He's studying it. And when a man studies your heart, ladies, that's not just love. That's devotion. That's commitment. Because any man can tell you he loves you. But a man who asks the right questions, he shows it. And that's the kind of love that doesn't fade. It grows deeper with every